from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
The time is just about 6:29. I'm Melissa Caen.
And I'm Devin Fehely. Nearly 25,000 employees of the University of California are preparing to go on strike tomorrow. KPIX 5's reporter Emily Turner is live at UC Berkeley this morning with more on the looming deadline. Good morning.
Yeah, Devin, Melissa, there could be some pretty serious impacts here because we're not talking about just a few hundred employees. We're talking about 25,000 employees, like you just said, from all 10 UC campuses, 5 medical centers, UC School of Law. This is the biggest employee union in the Cal system. So again, 25,000 workers, just about. More than 9,000 of those are service workers. 15,000 of those are patient care technical workers. And you might wonder, well, who are they? Well, service workers are security guards, groundkeepers, custodians, but here's going to be where likely the biggest impact will be felt was with the patient care technical workers. Those folks are the respiratory therapists, nursing aides, MRI techs, etc. Now, they do have a patient protection task force in place to head off with any emergencies to make sure the patients are taken care of. But you can imagine the uncertainty that's going to be facing these 5 medical centers. It all has to do with stalled contract negotiations and alleged racial and gender disparities. According to the union, they rejected UC's latest offer of a 3% raise over just that many years. 97% of the union voted in favor of this strike. In fact, the president, Catherine Lieberger, says, quote, "We've bargained in good faith for over a year to address the widening income, racial, and gender disparities that frontline low-wage workers at UC are living every day. Instead of joining us in the effort to arrest these trends, UC has insisted on deepening them, leaving workers no option but to strike." Of course, this was their last offer that the union has now said no, thank you. And they're also asking public officials to boycott the UC system. For example, Kamala Harris will be speaking here at Cal for their commencement ceremony, saying the union's asking her, don't show up. You should support us instead. Of course, the UC System Office of the President's spokesperson says they do not support this strike, that there will be too many implications and too much of an impact on not only the campuses, but also just the entire system. Reporting live in Berkeley, Emily Turner, KPIX 5.
A deadly motorcycle crash is under investigation this morning in Vallejo. It happened last night at 5th Street and Solano Avenue. Vallejo police had tried to pull the motorcyclist over earlier in the evening. Police say he was driving erratically and not wearing a helmet. Investigators say he eluded those officers who gave up the pursuit, but later found that he had crashed into a fence. Investigators now say it appears that the motorcyclist was speeding when he tried to make a left turn and crashed. He died from his injuries. Concord police are also investigating a deadly accident this morning, this one involving a pedestrian. It happened a little after 10 o'clock last night on Monument Boulevard near Virginia Lane. Investigators say a 62-year-old man was crossing the street when he was struck by a car. Police say the driver of that car remained at the scene and is cooperating. That stretch of Monument Boulevard is now open again. It had been closed for about 4 hours after that accident.
And San Jose police this morning are investigating a homicide on the city's east side. A man was shot and killed near Story Road and Jackson Avenue. Officers were called to the scene shortly after midnight.
At this time, we're still trying to gather information about the suspect or suspects, and so if there's anybody out there that has information about this crime or that crime, we would certainly urge you to call the San Jose Police Department Homicide Unit or just simply call 911.
And the SJPD says investigators will be at the scene for a while, collecting witness statements and physical evidence.
Now, meanwhile, the National Security Agency is upping its data collection. The agency pulled in 534 million records of phone calls and text messages from American telecommunications companies last year. That's 3 times more than the year before, according to the National Intelligence Report. It's not clear what caused that increase. The data pulled in by the NSA includes who users contacted and when, but not the content of those conversations. New homes in California may soon be required to have solar panels. The state's Energy Commission is set to vote Wednesday. The new measure would require every new home built in the Golden State to be solar powered starting in 2020. The mandate would be the first for any state. Right now, 15 to 20% of new homes in California are built with solar panels.
And an electric bicycle festival is set to continue today in Marin County. An estimated 250,000 electric bikes were sold in the U.S. last year as people seek alternatives to cars. The so-called Super Bicycle Festival concludes today, but it's still open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's near the Larkspur Ferry Terminal.
By the Associated Press finds more than 30 mishaps from guns to schools by law enforcement officers or educators over the past 4 years. They involve teachers, security guards, and school police officers who brought guns. Some of those accidental firings resulted in injuries.
And Tom Barrack, a close friend and confidant of President Donald Trump, has been interviewed by investigators working on the Russia probe by special counsel Robert Mueller. Barrack has been one of Trump's closest advisors through the 2016 campaign and into the administration.
Anti-Semitic Senate candidate Patrick Little, who praised Adolf Hitler, has been kicked out of the California Republican Party convention in San Diego. Little is running against Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein.
And Hawaii's erupting Kilauea volcano is taking a growing toll on property and people's lives. Lava shooting out of openings in the ground has already destroyed nearly half a dozen homes. 1,700 people who evacuated the area face the possibility of not being able to return for a long time.
Well, we're starting off with gray skies and mild temperatures this morning. Temperatures in the low 50s for Concord and Oakland, 54 San Francisco, 53 San Jose, and 52 right now Santa Rosa. As you head out the door this morning in Livermore, it is 50 degrees, making our way throughout the day. Could see a little bit of morning drizzle along the coast, but partly cloudy is the story. Mid 60s by the bay and low 70s inland. We are warming as we make our way into the work week. 80s for much of the week.
Can't talk about Sunday without addressing Saturday, and we got it all in 1 minute. So let's just give this Braves fan a little ball, and let's just get going. They entertained the Giants, and oh my goodness, Alan Hansen. Back away and gone, a 2-run job. He had 4 RBI in the game, and the Giants clobber the Braves 11-2. A's and the Orioles went to 12 innings before Chris Davis crushed this walk-off, a 2-run job. Oakland won final of 2-0 at the Coliseum. Out of the NBA, why is LeBron James king? Oh, a runner to beat Toronto, 105-103 in the East. My goodness. Got an overtime number. Celtics, Sixers, and Al Horford from Boston put it right in the basket. 101-98, the Celtics win. They lead that series 3-0. And at the 144th Kentucky Derby, Justify, the 5-2 favorite, ran through the mud and the slop to win by 2.5 lengths over Good Magic. If you had Justified and you bet big, you won big. As Mike Smith rode Justify to victory. Before I get out of here, I'll see some of you in just a little bit at Justin Herman Plaza for the 2018 San Francisco Moving Day to fight Parkinson's disease. I'll be there emceeing, and we will have fun, entertainment, music, and a walk as we try to raise awareness and raise funds to beat this disease that strikes every 9 minutes, someone is stricken with Parkinson's disease. So I'll see some of you a little bit later. The rest of you, I'll see you at the Coliseum in Oakland.